What's going on, guys? So we're back again with another gameplay video. This time we have Perth Pro Players team member Chris here on the left playing Supreme Kai of Time, and we have Tim here on the right playing the new green Goku. So just before we get started into the gameplay video, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors. We got Team Card Titans. If you guys want any DBS Seal products or DBS singles, make sure you check out that link in the description below. And also our local sponsor, Beyond in Balcatta. So if you live in the local area, make sure you check it out. They've got something for everyone. They've got tabletop games. They've got card games. So there's heaps of things to check out there. Great community, great place. So Supreme Kai Time, obviously seen a few times now on the channel. Deck profile's gone up as well, so make sure you check that out. Very strong deck, very, very aggro, which is always Chris's style. He loves the aggro decks. I feel like it's really brought like a black deck back into the meta as well, quite strong, which is great to see. You know, it kind of phased out for a very long time, but absolutely incredible. And then we have GT Goku, which is definitely a rogue pick here. It's very interesting. Some little interactions that go on, but as we know, green, you've got to do a million different things just to do something minor, which another color would do with just the one card. So it's going to be tough, but we're trying it out. We're going for it. So Tim's going for it. So we are going to swing and we're going to top 5 just here. I believe we pick up a GT character, if I remember right. I think it's a GT character we grab. And then what we want to be doing, I guess, is we want to be warping these Gokus as well from our hands. So then what we can do is we can get our early awaken. We do go down to 6. And then we kind of start getting things moving a little bit more. And then usually it relies kind of around the Z cards and the Z leader and everything like that. So we are going to pay 1 for Demigra. It looks like just here. And then we're just going to uptick, which is always good. This Demigra is obviously amazing. Always a nice card to have. I think that would be probably our swing and then the end of turn. Just here, we don't really need to do too much else. And then probably just start trying to build up some Z energy. And the good thing is obviously he's going down to 6. So if Chris starts swinging into the unison, he can just start taking life instead. So we're going to swing straight into leader. I'm assuming leader's going into leader here. I don't think we're going into unison. I don't think there's really any point. So leader to leader, going to get our mill. Going for an overarm, getting 3 in our warp. Obviously, we want to get our early overarms going, so that way we can kind of awaken quickly. Plus, obviously, a card like this facilitates putting your Goten and everything into the warp, which is good because once we get our trunks out onto the board, we can get that going. Only sad thing, obviously, we have not found the Demigra unison, which kind of sucks. But the great thing here is obviously we've got a Trunk Zeno, so we can pay 1 to get this going. We can actually just get this here. So we have a choice. So Chris may actually end up now swinging into the unison, which is going to be interesting. Because obviously if Tim does take a life, he's going down to 4. So either way, it's kind of the same results. Either he loses a unison, so he loses his counterplay, or he loses his dormant potentials, right? Which I guess the freezer counterplay is really the only relevant one that's left with the free unison one. Outside, obviously, we've got SS4 Vegeta in yellow, but no one's really playing that card as much anymore. So it's more about the freezer counterplay. And obviously, if you can deal with that pretty quickly by taking the unison, which is exactly what's happening right here, I think that is going to be a very, very good choice for Chris. You know what I mean? I definitely think being able to get rid of the counterplays means his whole deck just gets facilitate itself. So we have cleared the unison, plus we've put 2 threats onto the board, which is absolutely incredible. So we've got a 20 crit and a 25k double strike, all for 2 energy, which is pretty insane. Very, very strong. So we have warped. I believe that puts us at our 4 that we need in the warp, so we can get our awaken going, but I could be wrong here. I think that's all it needs. I think it's the 4, or it's 2 or more Goku or something along those lines. It's very easy to get going for the awaken, which is quite nice with this leader. And the awaken is a 1/1, so draw 1 and we get to untap 1, which is nice. So that's exactly what we want here. Probably put some pressure, probably or hopefully get our Z cards going. But we'll see how we go. So we are going to play this new Vegeta just here. So it does have an ability like Champa, so we can actually give double strike which is quite nice for 1 energy. So when we combo, we can use it as a double strike Champa. which is good to see. Obviously, that means it's still kind of in the game. And we also get to draw 1, discard 1, and then we get to KO 4 or less on our opponent's board, right? Which at the moment, I don't believe we have. I believe the Goten is a 6 cost, which kind of screws that over too. So we don't actually get that much out of it. And the reason it's being played for 1 is because we've got 2 Goku GTs in the warp. So the fact that we have that reduces the energy cost, which is ideal here. So we can get this going. We get to flip our leader over as well. So we get our energy back with draw 1, which is nice. And that's kind of what we want. So just thinking about what Tim's doing here. Obviously, they're chatting about something. Chris probably hasn't seen this leader, like many of us haven't seen this leader. So he's probably just trying to figure out exactly what's going on. It doesn't do a hell of a lot, I feel like. It's not too bad. Good thing is it obviously protects your, or allows your Android 18Z card to attack and then restand as well, which you want, because you need to have that hanging around, because you want to start using those effects a little bit, or just having that on board, because a lot of the pluses on the cards actually say if you have an Android 18 card, blah blah blah, you get plus battle power kind of thing. So we'll see what Tim does here. I'm assuming we're probably going to combo 1 and go into our Android 18, I would think here. We are going to swing in. So it looks like, yep. So we are swinging. Going to draw 1 here. So yeah, we do get a draw 1, discard 1 as well off that Vegeta. So a bit of cycle. No, it doesn't look like here we are going for our combo, but it looks like we are going to go for our unison just here. Now I'm hoping we have either a counterplay or we have like a dormant potential. I think the counterplay is probably better in this matchup, I would say. But dormant potential is always good as well, just to slow down some turns for Tim. I think allowing Chris to just go too wide is going to be rather scary. So we are going to, it looks like, combo out of that. So Tim is putting the aggression on. However, we are going into a turn 3 for Chris. And I think this is probably his favorite turn to close out the game. It's going to be very aggressive. He's already got 2 threats on board, plus whatever else he can get going. The only thing he does need to find, which I think he has now, is the unison. We do definitely need to have that unison going, because that allows him to obviously overwhelm twice, right? So we're going to swing into Demigod Unison with a double strike. We are going to dormant. Discarding 1. So we are going to try to stop this turn or slow it down enough, right? Yeah, and I think we just let that go. That's not the end of the world. Because once we've lost 1 marker on it, it means we can't counterplay anymore, which means it's pretty much dead anyway. So I think that's completely fair to let that go. I don't think we need to keep that hanging around anymore. Now, it kind of makes Chris's turn, I guess, a little bit more awkward. So we are going to play the Demigod Unison. I think we kind of have to here. I don't think there's any way around that realistically. I think you do just have to go for it. He is going to have to swing though on this front side just to get some mills, because he does need some cards in his drop right now. We are down at 4 of those, so we can get our Awaken, which is quite nice. So we can match the 15 to the 15. And that's kind of ideal right now, so we can apply some pressure. But at least he's got some cards in his drop, so he can get a warp going, overwhelm going. That way he can kind of start facilitating a little bit more. What he may even do, I'm wondering, is he may go into the Pan Z card at this point, because that way he doesn't have to go down lower than 4 life, because going down lower than 4 life kind of hurts a little bit just here. So we are going to overwhelm. I'm going to draw 2. Yeah, draw 2, warp 1. Oh, sorry, we're just going Demigod's effect, it looks like, first here, which is fair enough. So we are going Demigod or Kai, sorry, I cannot remember which one it is. I'm so used to them just being next to each other now, but he is going to obviously get as many cards as he can in hand before he makes his decision. I would assume now we go into our Pan just here, which we don't see a lot from Chris. Obviously, usually he's not down this low, but we do get to play our Pan, which means that we do get to, I guess rejuvenate is probably the best word. When we crit our life for our leader effect, we do get to kind of rejuvenate our life back up, which is ideal here for Chris. Means he's not going lower than 4 unless he wants to, which he doesn't really at this point. So we are going to go for potentially another overwhelm just here. Depends on what we've got in our drop area. I don't know if he facilitated enough to get another overrun going or not. It looks like we have, because Chris is holding the 30k Goku to grab something back. So we are going to go for that. Probably, yeah, I was going to say, probably either just grabbing that same card again, which is usually the best choice, right? Because then we can actually just do it again next turn if we want to, which is ideal. And then we uptick on the Demigra, lose a life, put some more from the warp back in the drop, and then rejuvenate one from the top of the deck, right? So that was Kai's effect, obviously being able to crit a life and then put some back in the drop area. And then it's Pan that allows him to rejuvenate one. So we're still at our 4. We've got 1 energy left up. He has charged a couple negates, I believe, though. So feeling pretty confident. I think the counter Goku probably is going to come in to play pretty soon on Chris's side, just because obviously Dormant's pretty frustrating. But being able to just completely stop that is going to be really, really nice for him. I think he needs to be able to just get rid of that quickly if he can. But we'll see exactly what he has. I think maybe one's been charged, I think, down there. So I don't know if he's got another one in hand. I guess as well, Tim would have to, unless he can get another Unison, probably have to pay for it. Which is fine at the end of the day. If he needs to pay for it, he needs to pay for it. If he needs to slow down the game as much as possible, I think that's fair. Looks like we are going to display an Android 18 just here. So she's just a searcher. But it's always good to have an 18 on board because it facilitates quite a lot of other things here for Tim. Again, everything, a lot of the stuff is kind of reduced by cost with the 18s as well. And then obviously get your power boost and things like that, which is quite nice. And that's what we want. And that's kind of the ideal thing here. Choosing a GT. Looks like we're grabbing the Vegeta. Obviously, that's reduced by cost from the Gokus in the warp here. I'm assuming, what I'm thinking is we're probably going to play into that and then maybe leave 1 energy up for either a dormant or a negate of some sort going into this next turn, I would believe, right? I think he can at least, if he plays that, he can at least get rid of one of the threats, one of the 15Ks, either the Pan or the Trunks Seno just here. Looks like we are going to combo off, taking it to 20. Going to 25 just here, so 1-on-1. Obviously getting our Z going. No super combos in hand, it seems like, otherwise we definitely would use that super combo. We are going to Z going into, I'm assuming the Android 18 just here. Oh no, we're going to the leader just here, right? So we're going to actually switch it up. We're still at 15k, unfortunately. So it is similar to the Bardock Unison. So if your opponent uses a card in combo, place up to 1 card from your opponent's combo area in its drop, which is quite nice. Only allows to do it during your turn, which is rather painful. But we do get to switch an Android 18Z battle card to rest mode. And then you get to choose all your opponent's battle cards with blocker, ignoring barrier, KO them, and this card gets 5,000 power for the turn. So very specific once again, which kind of sucks. Sad it's obviously not a 20k, because I think a 20k would have been pretty good here for Tim. I think we're kind of in trouble here. Like, I think this is going to be a bit of a struggle for Tim to kind of get back into. Now, 4 life, Chris is going on to 4 energy. Got a hell of a board set up. Not dormanting on the first attack just here, which is rather scary. So that makes me feel like the likelihood is that we don't have a game ender. But Chris, having a look at Chris's hand, he did also have the counter Goku just there. So he would be able to just stop a dormant anyway. So it's not the end of the world for him here. But hopefully we found something just to slow down. I think we've got the new negate in hand, right? Which is quite nice. We do have the new negate from the look of it in hand, which is ideal there. So we are going to Z charge 1. Taking 1 from the 30k, it looks like, just here. Scary position being at 3. We're going to overwhelm. We've still got 2 overwhelms left for the turn. We've got overwhelm dual attack just here, which is huge. We're going to get, obviously, all the effects going here. So we are going to go at 3, and then we're going to go at Demigra. Flip 1. So we have got our 4. Obviously, very easy to kind of get our 6 going. So it looks like we're going to dormant. So it looks like we've ripped the dormant off one of the Paragus super combos. Otherwise, we definitely would have done that first. So we are just going to go straight to the drop with both. Discarding the new negate from hand, it looks like. Obviously, still happening this attack because dormant does not negate. It can KO a 2 or less though. And I don't believe Pan has barrier. So I'm thinking it could be worth, but it looks like we're going to counter instead, right? Which I had a feeling if we're going to use dormant and we got the counter, why wouldn't we? So making sure that's still happening. So that just kind of stops the whole effect. So I'm pretty sure Tim should add that back to hand. He doesn't have to do the discard, right? And then we are going to get, of course, the combo off the trunks just here. So we have still got a single coming in. But it is dual attack. So Tim is going to have to combo out of some of these attacks here. Because he is at 3 and double strike range is pretty close. And the likelihood is that Chris surely has some form of double strike overwhelm that he can get going, right? So we are going to go to 20, we need 25. So there's 25 for us. Not many in hand. It looks like we do have a cell max though. So if we can survive the turn, there's a potential. I do believe Chris has 2 negates though. I'm pretty sure. So we're going to swing again. 24. Swinging Pan. $15 to 15 right now. So as I said, very sad that obviously we don't have the plus here on the Goku, which kind of sucks. What we are going to do though, because our leader is a Z leader, we get to use the counter skill without paying its energy cost by discarding another card from hand. So we do get to have a negate just there. And then when it does negate, we get to KO 4 or less, right? So we did get to KO that Goku, which is really nice. Swinging in again. So we've still got quite a few attacks on board. And I'm sure we've got an overarm that can just finish off the job just here. So yeah, so we're going into the dual attack. Shocking death ball. So Tim's doing the gentleman, just taking his own life. We're not defending that. So there we go, guys. Obviously, Green Goku is showing what it does. Unfortunately, it's green, and it just doesn't do enough because Bandai doesn't love green enough, unfortunately, which kind of hurts. But Supreme Kai Time taking that one out, being very aggressive, doing exactly what it needed to do, and showing how good that counter is, especially against a card like Dormant Potential, which is just absolutely insane, being able to slow down turns. I feel like Dormant Potential has gotten a little bit worse as the formats have gone on, but it's still great just to slow down some of those aggro decks. If you guys liked the video, please remember to subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.